Hey, everybody. We are live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. Normally, I would be just going into our intro, but I want to make sure that I sound okay. So we're going to let some people come on. We do already have a comment, Kelly. It says, hello, Kelly and Zach. Don't know how long I will stay. Just wanted to say hi. So thanks, Selflow. And as soon as we officially go live, I am going to, for my own purposes, open a note and write the time code because, trying to think ahead.
Oh, yeah,
for editing.
For the voice. I am hearing you breathe, which I didn't hear before we went live, but I knew from the tinsel sound that was going to happen. You are super close to your mic.
Okay, I have moved it further back. Let me go into my settings.
Yeah.
And...
because it sounds like you're struggling to breathe, and I know that's not the case.
I'm trying. I'm trying to breathe.
Oh no.
Okay, so it's not letting me adjust the mic because I killed the board because I thought maybe it was the board. And I was like, okay, so I just plugged in straight to the audio. So inside baseball, I have a soundboard, but there was some issues with tinniness yesterday, so I'm wondering if this microphone is going bad, which just dandy.
That would suck.
As I got to pay rent next week, and I'm mildly irritated.
Yeah.
So, it's okay. Mr. Comics 89. Hello, Mr. Comics. It says, hey, Zach and Kelly, hope you are both well. I've had the week from hell, and it's not over till Saturday. Same, bro. Same. We've both had different types of weeks from hell, and I'm on 48 hours for the week, and I still got 20 more to go.
Yeah, I'm hitting the home stretch. It's just it's been busy, so trying to juggle everything is trying to juggle all the obligations this week has been a struggle.
Yeah.
And then keep getting it's a thing. It's life. Adulting sucks. I'm hearing background, and I don't know if that's me. I'm wondering, is your mic picking up your speakers? Are you actually on your Are you actually in your headphones?
Yes, the headphones are working because I switched it on like at the computer level, so it should be all coming through my headphones. That's so odd. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I can switch headphones and see if, I think I've got another pair in here.
No, see if those are...
I don't know. I just tilted things askew because of the way the cords are. Sorry, guys. Yeah. My cord management right now is terrible. Okay, so I have...
I think the mic is picking up everything.
Which is not what I want. We were lied to.
We were lied to.
I'm done with my free trial. Okay, so let me try the earbuds. Just a second.
Okay. Alrighty. Sorry for the technical trouble, guys. Name of the game right now.
All right. Okay. Well, let me try to see if I can fix this in settings.
Yep.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes, a lot better.
Okay, I think it was literally picking up the sound from the speakers
because it's literally yeah.
It's so weird.
That was crazy. That's crazy. Like you were saying, it's going bad, but it's like becoming like supersonic something. It wants to be a superhero.
It's like that episode of Smallville where Tom Welling's Superman got his super hearing.
Yeah.
Bigman says Zach was having mic problems last night too. So I was having all sorts of problems last night. It was.
I really think your mic is just deciding to pick up on it's hot. It's a very hot mic.
Yeah, like it's about to crater, I think.
Yeah.
Because I remember, but granted, I've had this thing for 5-6 years because I got it whenever I was living with my old roommate, and so because he had a soundboard and we could do podcasts that way. So
Yeah.
Zach's mic is cursed. Yes.
Nah, it's not. It's just old.
It's just old. All right. I'm ready to get started, and I am going to make a note. 5:20 on.
Alrighty.
Let me. I had a note opened up. Let's do 5:20 or 5:30. All right. All right. Coming down in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to another episode of Make Mine Mayday, the show all about Spider-Girl and her world of the MC2, better known as Earth 982. I'm Zach Joyner, your friendly neighborhood webmaster of Spidey-Dude.com and the Spidey Dude Radio Network. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening if you're listening to the audio version. We want to give special thanks to our patrons, Vinkman, Scott, Jurgen, Greg, Phoenician, Kale, and it's not on the screen, but I want to thank Georgia as well for their support of our shows all up across the Spidey Radio Network. And we got some brand new ones like the Sal Buscema Era podcast. Amazing Spider-Man Classics just had season 2 launched a couple weeks ago, and it's already got a couple episodes out of both. And we also have more episodes of Spidey Dude Experience. And of course, this show has more episodes coming to you very, very soon. So without further ado, I want to introduce myself and Kelly. Hello,
Hi.
Kelly.
Hello.
So, Kelly, what are we covering tonight?
We are taking a midpoint break from our break or sabbatical to cover Last Planet Standing. And Last Planet Standing, I'm going to let you go over that history and all of that because there is even a wiki page for this series.
A wiki page,
page. Yeah, have you not seen the wiki page? I'm not 100% sure certain tidbits on that are like 100%, but somebody made a wiki page for it.
Somebody, hopefully it was one of the people from the message board. So this was published in 2006. It's DeFalco and Olive. He also did the co-plotting as well. And
you were sitting there talking about how you wouldn't see Olaf again.
I know.
It's like you don't know what he drew.
I totally blanked on this, and it's funny because personally, like around the time that this miniseries, the 5th issue of this miniseries came out, is when I started doing Crawlspace. So my podcasting career kind of intersects with this miniseries. It was okay. So allegedly, and I need to
that was the part that I was like, I don't.
So I'm going to the source. I don't know. Hopefully, this source link still okay. It just does not even. So according to Wikipedia, this was to be the final adventures of the MC2 universe. Likewise, in the ongoing Spider-Girl series, the storyline took place where she was supposed to die. That's not true.
No, she was
none of that is true.
Oh my god!
So
right?
None of that is true. This is a complete fabrication.
Right? Okay. See, that's what I thought. And the thing is, I'm not going to spend my entire Saturday that it takes to get stuff edited off Wiki to get it edited off Wiki, and I want to know who wrote it. Like, I really do. So if you're listening and you wrote this wiki page, please tell me why you wrote this. And if I find out that it's a 15-year-old, I'm going to
She's going to be very upset.
Old man yells at Cloud at you because I'm so tired of people taking fan fiction and thinking it's true instead of, picking up their tablet and putting like Marvel Unlimited on it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So I will make sure. I meant to do a deep dive into the message board archives to see. I do remember that this was something that was announced in the build up the following year. So you had 2005, Last Hero Standing was announced. They wanted more. This was during the Scholastic deals, so they wanted more content. and to be putting into digest. So they were asking for more Spider-Girl stories and stuff like that. So we already knew that Spider-Girl was good through 100, but after that, we really didn't know if the series was going to continue. That part is true in the wiki thing. Like that part is true. The story specifics, though, not true.
Yeah, exactly.
Spider-Girl was never going to get killed. That's just not how it's not how Tom and Ron really work. I would never see them doing that type of story. There might be stakes where it looks like she might be killed, but I just don't think that they would do that. So I will verify that, because obviously I'm going to do a deep dive when we talk about the whole Amazing relaunch too, and I'll verify that. But so this was announced a year after, to a lot of
Last
excitement.
Hero.
Last Hero Standing was announced first. It was done at Pittsburgh Comic-Con. They had a whole panel. The following year, this was also announced. So I do know that this was also announced at Pittsburgh Comic-Con, because that became kind of their go-to spot to make announcements. And so this was going to be the big event, and it was going to be bi-weekly as opposed to weekly. So Last Hero Standing was a weekly series that came out during 5 straight weeks. This was a bi-weekly series that came out over 3 months. So that is, kind of the backstory to this, and obviously it's a direct sequel to Last Hero Standing. So this, I kind of felt like they were wanting to write a quasi-ending to MC2, but not, because obviously they knew that Spider-Girl was going to continue with the relaunch. But
exactly.
I just think that this kind of was intended to be like a farewell send-off to the rest of the MC2, so that way you could focus on Spider-Girl kind of exclusively in the relaunch.
Well, but see, then we got another Fantastic Five and another Avengers next, because we'll talk about that at the end. We also will need to move our news and housekeeping stuff to the end, since you kind of jumped to history, which is fine, because there's a lot of history here.
Yeah.
No, it's anytime Pat Olaf is around, you forget. I
become like a bunny rabbit, and I just jump around. I'm sorry, Kelly.
It's okay. It's fine.
It's all Pat Olaf's fault.
It is.
It's that dynamic art.
In a good way. But we'll talk about it, because I actually have a thing I want to get feedback on from our listeners on how to handle the next episode, because there's a specific. It's because of Next, or Avengers Next. One episode could spoil something in Spider-Girl, and I don't want to do that, so I don't know if we want to mix them together, at least issues 1 and 2 with Next, so that way we kind of get to a good point, or do them vice versa. But we'll talk about it at the end. So since we did do this huge history deep dive, do we want to start the breakdowns now? All right, so guys, since it is kind of meant to be read together, ultimately, it is really just one big giant story. I believe they were on the shelves each week, because it was the last 2 weeks of July, the last 3 weeks of August, or first 3 weeks of August. Sorry.
It was it was bi-weekly, so it was every other week.
Bi-weekly. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the thing, though, is that it was bi-weekly. They're meant to be read together. They don't even have specific titles to each issue. It is literally part 1, part 2, part 3, etc. So we're going to do our breakdowns. I'm going to break down issues 1 and 3. And then Zach is going to break down issues 4 and 5, which are my favorite. And I should have switched it around, but that shows you how busy I was. But we're going to break these down, and then we're going to talk about it together. So we definitely want to hear y'all's comments. Anything y'all want to bring up that is relevant to the story, feel free to put it in the comments, and we will get to it during our reviews and have a nice little chat. Because I think that that's probably going to make this go better, a little bit better, a little bit smoother, and it's just more cohesive to the way the story is written.
Okay. So with that, Kelly's going to start with issue 1.
Yes. So the cover date was July 2006. Shelf date was May 10th, 2006. For the entire miniseries, it's DeFalco, Olaf. How do I pronounce that?
I think it's Koblish.
Koblish, Sharp,
Yeah.
and Rowe on colors. Molly Laser was the editor. Pricing was $2.99 at the time, and this is almost exactly 15 years ago.
Yeah, that means I'm getting closer to my 15th era class reunion, and I get sad.
Yeah,
I've almost been out of. Oh man! Wow.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyway.
All right. let's not have an existential crisis on air. So we start our adventure with Reed and Sue doing research in a now barren, abandoned planet. As Sue tells Reed to come back to the ship, Sue laments about how she wishes they could just go to Islands of Adventure for a vacation, which every day, same. As they look at the pattern that seems to be forming with various planets, giving whatever is going on 3 days to a week before it hits Earth. An alarm goes off because one of Reed's drones has detected an abnormality coming from the center of the galaxy that they are researching. They find that they've detected a vessel that appears to be pouring energy into the sun, and Reed realizes that Earth and the whole universe is in jeopardy. Reed tries to get a Mayday message to the Fantastic Five headquarters as the sun in this galaxy is imploding, but can't finish the message as what looks like their ship is getting blown up. We cut to Dominus, the Wave Master, and I might call him Dom Wave, or Dom the Wave Master, as he flies to the Imperial throne world of Shihar. He's basically very set on a very Silver Surfer-like manner to tell the planet that they need to evacuate or die. A fight ensues with Gladiator, and we cut to New York, and the rest of the Fantastic Five waste no time in getting in the Star Jumper to save Reed and Sue, telling Doom to alert the president and to also hang at the Baxter Building for when the children get home from school. And apparently Taurus goes to school unattended, and that doesn't feel safe for the public. But all right, I just don't trust Taurus by himself.
He's a little mischievous, isn't he? I would say.
Yeah, I feel like he needs supervision 100% of the time. But anyway, so Doom also says he wants to alert the Avengers, and Ben makes a dig, but Doom does it anyway. Sadly, the Avengers are currently battling the Red Queen and the Revengers. Vision and the President of the United States talk about Reed's message, and Vision is asked to lead the troops, so to speak, in New York, since most of the superheroes in 982, aka most of the Avengers, or teenagers, or formerly retired greatest heroes who might not be at their full game. At Barton's dojo, American Dream, Freebooter, and Hawkeye have a training session as Dream deals with an existential crisis of sorts from her last major team-up in Last Hero Standing. Because as we all know, Captain America did die. Meanwhile, at Midtown High, Slattery reminds his sophomore class that it is PSAT time. And if nobody knows that, for any non-US students, the PSATs are kind of like your pre-SAT scores. So you take that test and then you take the SATs.
Yeah.
Or now yeah, well, now there's other tests too, so you don't even have to take it. It's voluntary. But at this time, it was pretty much common. So PSATs. So Davida and Courtney start talking about what they want to do when they grow up, and May really hasn't given it that much thought, but leaves her friends and suits up and thinks about maybe college. Is college even important when you already have such an important job like being a superhero? And I had to write, May, it doesn't pay the bills, girl. Bills suck. Unfortunately, money is a necessary evil.
Yeah, especially in New York, honey. Especially in New York.
Yeah. Like, oof. But must be. We've talked about this. Like, somehow the Parkers are loaded in this universe because they have 2 phone lines.
Right.
Anyway, meanwhile, we see where everyone is evacuating the Shiha royalty. I'm gonna butcher this, and I'm sorry, but the Matrix or Mace, not Matrix, but basically like Majestrix, Leandra Normandy or Nermany. The threat, it seems, is Galactus, the Great Destroyer and Revenger of Worlds, has come to destroy their planet. And as valiantly as the Shi'ar people are fighting, they are no match. Galactus destroys their planet. May beats up some thugs as she debates on college some more. Maybe she will do it and open up her horizon, so to speak. Which the juxtaposition feels weird. After watching a planet get destroyed in this issue, I just want to say that it feels really weird because it's a very small teenage thinking versus what we, the audience, just saw. But May doesn't really know the stakes of this book just yet, so I guess she is allowed to kind of just think about herself and her future. Stinger calls May and advises something is seriously going down. We cut to Galactus advising Dom that he needs to go to Asgard and destroy the world before he moves to Earth. Meanwhile, on the Starjumper, Franklin starts to panic because an entire galaxy is gone. Not just a planet, a whole galaxy. To be continued. So we move on to issue 2, which is a cover date of July 2006, and it was on sale May 24th, 2006. Issue 2 is right where we left off with the Fantastic Five. They're really confused by the fact that they are literally in a total void over the galaxy. Franklin and Lyja look for Reed and Sue using the trackers that are embedded in their suits, and they find them. Sue used her invisible force field and protected them from whatever happened here. Ben is glad they're alive, and also maybe, it's kind of like maybe we can get some answers once they wake up and, figure out what Reed was trying to warn them about. Meanwhile, Asgard is valiantly trying to defend their home from Galactus. Galactus asks Dom to go find the Odin sword that brings fear to Thor. If Galactus is to get the Odin sword, the whole cosmos could be in grave danger. Galactus orders his Punisher robots to swarm Asgard. Meanwhile, Spider-Girl gets chastised by Mainframe for running late, and the Avengers, all the current active team, find out that Vision was sent to gather them to help defend the world from the threat Reed tried to warn them about. Vision explains he has Nova and Sentry patrolling space and trying to figure out what's going on, and wants them to know that right now there isn't danger present, though May astutely advises if there wasn't danger present, Vision wouldn't be here, and that is very fair. So Jarvis runs in, telling them that the Revengers have been seen out causing havoc, and Vision tells Mainframe that he can only take 3 other Avengers with him to apprehend them, telling him that the Revengers escaping them from this silly fight is a risk that they can all take right now, considering the threat of the universe that is looming. I am getting distracted by dogs.
Sorry, I'm going to mute.
Sorry. Alrighty. So, alright, so meanwhile on Asgard, they're still fighting Galactus, and Galactus uses I wrote laser eyes to kill Asgardians. Lady Sif helps the Vizar and an older warrior onto a ship to flee the planet in case Asgard Asgard falls. We cut to Reed and Sue, now awake, telling the Fantastic Five what they saw and that Galactus is involved. Reed has been tinkering and playing with a possible device to help him with this kind of situation and asks Ben to take them home as soon as possible, as Earth depends on it. Thor chases Dom and explains how powerful the Odin sword is and that even Galactus will not survive the cataclysm that follows if the sword falls into his hands. Dom, who tells us that he was a bureaucrat on his tiny planet that's just too insignificant to mention, but then why did he mention it? Says that he will not be swayed by anything anyone says when it comes to honoring Galactus. He senses the sword and finds it in a very elaborate tomb display room. Thor charges forward, commanding for Dom to stand down. He will not allow him to take the sword while he still stands. So Dom puts him and the sword in a wormhole because Galactus actually told Dom that he also needs Thor for his master plan. Seeing the signal that Dom puts into the sky to let Galactus know he succeeded, Galactus activates his elemental converter and rips through Asgard, that even make the frost giants, rock trolls, and all Asgardians unite and pray in fear together. While fighting the Revengers, Thunderstrike's powers go out. Spider-Girl saves him from Saberclaw and swings him to relative safety as she goes to help Mainframe now that the Revengers are kind of ganging up on him. We see that Thor is in a stasis chamber in Galactus' ship, as there are many others, as Galactus says that they all have a part to play in his ascension, his evolution. He advises that thanks to the Cap Shield star constellation beaming with magical energy and intriguing possibilities, that he has a plan to stop his incorrigible hunger once and for all, to finally be satisfied. Meanwhile, the great powers of the universe come together to have a meeting. We have the Collector, the Living Tribunal, Master Order, Lord Chaos, the Gardener, I don't know if that was the Gardener. I might have messed up there. The In-Between, the Shaper of Worlds, and the Stranger. They decide that they need to stop Galactus themselves, and Earth might have to be sacrificed for the greater good of the universe. Back at the Avengers compound, are you coming back on to tell me I messed up?
Yeah. No. The Gardener was correct. I was telling you were correct.
Cool. Okay, cool. All right. So, back at the Avengers compound, a defeated-looking mini-team of Stinger, Spider-Girl, Mainframe, and Kevin Masterson come back to advise the Revenger that the Revengers ditched the fight the moment a SWAT team showed up. J2 at first tries to protect Thunderstrike's secret identity, and I clicked on the wrong thing, so I gotta go back. Oh no. So, first J2 tries to protect Thunderstrike's secret identity, but Kevin lets it all out since honestly, losing your secret identity to your friends is the least of his concerns. Vision tries to revoke Kevin's Avenger status in the name of the president, which makes Mainframe super upset because Vision speaks for the president, not the Avengers. And agreed, because I was like, when did the Avengers become like the shield of the universe? And I said I basically said Vision has watched too many MCU movies, which if I was being played by Paul Bettany, I'd probably watch them a lot too. Nova tries to reach the Avengers. I don't know what I wrote here. Nova tries to reach the Avengers, and Dom is heading towards the Earth's defense system, and his force is literally like a tidal wave. I guess that's why he is called the Wave Master of energy. The energy fries the ship Nova and Earth Sentry are on. As the system satellites and the ship seemingly go up in flames, the stunned Avengers team is shocked and concerned. And now we are on to issue 3. Cover date is August 2006. It was on sale June 7th, 2006. Issue 3 starts with the Watcher, and he is explaining who he is and what he does, and, how he watches the multiverses. The time has come for him to watch a very, very critical juncture. Don, the Wave Master, calls him out for everything that he, like basically every slight he's made in stopping Galactus in the past, and he, what seemingly looks like explodes the planet or causes an explosion on the moon, all just for pure spite, honestly. Meanwhile, Ben is flying to get back to Earth, and they touch base with the president finally to talk to him and give him the rundown as to what is going on. After the call at the Avengers compound, Vision is explaining what he heard from the president. We all know that he was able to speak to the Fantastic Five, and they have now returned to Earth, so they will now be appointed to handle the situation with the Avengers on standby. He also tells them that Nova and Sentry are still missing in space, but S.H.I.E.L.D. is trying to recover them. But no one knows if they're dead or alive. Vision reminds them that they are a government-sanctioned team and that they need to heed to the president's will, since no one seems super happy about being sidelined, particularly Stinger, who reminds Vision she's a volunteer. Shannon has started to come back to the compound after hearing that the moon, there was an explosion on the moon, and overheard the whole political debacle. The two of them walk off, talking about how, it's pretty complicated being a hero, i.e. being an Avenger. The Wave Master speaks to Earth, telling them to evacuate or die as Galactus is heading Earth's way. At the Fantastic Five headquarters, aka the Baxter Building, Reed is showing everyone his huge pop gun-like weapon to blow Galactus into the next week. While Reed gets the thing up and running, knowing he really only has enough power for one shot, he asks his team to go out and take care of Galactus's new herald. They fight, and this is where I called him Don Wave. They fight Dom Wave, and we cut to the Avengers compound where Vision keeps telling the Avengers to stand down, and Mainframe gets hella tired from hearing this nonsense. He assembles his Avengers, and they take their leave, asking Vision, is he a politician or is he a hero? The great powers try to talk some sense into Galactus, but since Galactus is tired of always being hungry, never being satisfied, it falls on deaf ears. So they decide that they must do what they need to do to stop him, even if it destroys the entire Milky Way. As Reed is about to fire his cannon, they see the wormhole forming, knowing that the authors or somebody are trying to stop Galactus too, yet their blowback will surely blow up Earth. Reed wishes he had time to talk to them, but they've left him no choice, and he fires his cannon. He diverts his aim, knowing he needs to stop the great powers, and hope he can find a way to stop Galactus in time after this, but he cannot let these guys blow up Earth. The Wave Master creates a wave to drown the city and distract the Fantastic Five, so the Avengers continue to calm the crowds. Spider-Girl makes a wall of web to stop traffic from getting washed away. Sue creates a force field to take most of the water from falling, and Mainframe tries to help evaporate anything that splashes over the force field. American Dream and Spider-Girl try to save as many people as they can, since water is still finding its way in to destroy New York. Trillions of dollars of damage. Quickly, Dream and Spidey realize they can't save everyone, and Spider-Girl, clearly upset, says that they have no right to call themselves heroes anymore. Heroes would have found a way to stop this. The Revengers watch while Magneto would like to try to help, since, this is kind of a major disaster and affects everybody. Red Queen is pretty heartless and basically says that the heroes are on their own. Sue collapses while Reed tends to her and advises it's just from the mental strain, she'll be all right. He sees that Galactus has landed on Earth. To be continued, and now it's time for Zach to take it away.
All right, so we pick up with issue 4. Released on June 21st of 2006, cover dated for August 2006. After opening the cover, which has Silver Surfer on it, and if you're watching us on YouTube, you're seeing me hold that particular cover up, the Avengers try to contain the damage caused by the flooding. In an eerie scene reminiscent to the Katrina aftermath, American Dream stops looters from trying to take what's theirs. We get a full-page splash of Galactus walking the Earth. He's commandeered Central Park and is deciding to use it as his home base. Vision, Logan, and Mainframe are on top of a building, and basically Logan's like, enough of this stuff, and bolts towards the danger. But he was quickly thwarted by the force field that is been created by Galactus. Vision reminds him that the F5 are in charge. The Mainframe kind of agrees with Logan. It's not a time to sit back and play politics. It's time for action. Meanwhile, at Pier 4, Reed is checking Sue out to see if she's, sustained any permanent damage from her, from the strain of creating the force field last issue. And she seems to be okay, but she's going to be out for a little while. The president calls, and Reed does his usual dismissal that he does of every single human being that exists whenever Reed Richards is involved, and then with a work particular thing, when he's hyper-focused. He then launches a missile into space, a giant flaming 5. Wonder who that could be. Meanwhile, in space, the warships are almost ready, and the Avengers show up again to try to cause havoc. And which Freebooters like, WTF, guys, we're super busy with Galactus, and you guys want to start a fight like right now. Hope, what are you doing? What are you doing, Hope? Galactus starts his machine and nearly destroys everything, causing a massive earthquake, including Avengers compound, seemingly. As Galactus sees the ruins, he just grimaces and continues, determined to operate his mission. Meanwhile, the Avengers try to regroup, and Waylon loves this issue a lot, which Reed finally realizes is what's going on. He's not trying to consume, he's trying to create? All right, so Galactus is trying to start a new Big Bang. Mainframe gets back online, and he's pretty peeved off. Vision is also finally sort of becomes himself again. He's like, okay, after this giant earthquake that took out most of Manhattan, maybe I should actually, act. Welcome back, Vision. In space, Dorminus gets attacked by the Silver Surfer. Dorminus proceeds to kind of fill Surfer in to what's going on, and therefore, if this is your first time picking the book up, you, the reader, are getting filled into what's been going on. Before Vision tries to phase through the force field, only to give his life in what I wrote as a blatant commentary on how he died in Avengers Disassembled. Meanwhile, J2 saved a lot of people, including Spider-Girl, Dream, and Danger, by lifting heavy stuff. Mayday uses the opportunity to motivate J2 into pushing forward that he is the son of the Juggernaut. He fought the Hulk. And it's a double homage to not only ASM 33, but also Secret Wars with the Hulk holding up a mountain. May is very thankful, and she tries to bolt, but Stinger and American Dream stop her, and Dream implores her to fight. Determined, the Kooky Quartet fight on. The final page is of Surfer absorbing Dominus. Now he's twice as powerful and ready to take on Big G Galactus. Which leads us to the next issue. It is a breakneck speed to the finish, as our issue starts with Surfer trying to implore Galactus to stop this madness. Meanwhile, Reed is building a Megazord-like device with Mainframe trying to build up to break the force field. Meanwhile, evacuations are in full swing, while some of the Avengers are still deciding to loot, because why not? Reed orders Scarlet Witch and Surfer to combine the powers, and a massive beam of energy is erupted. It breaks the seal of the force field. May, Dream, and Stinger then shrink down, while J2 puts them into a tin-style ball and hurls it towards Galactus and his machine. The trio then sneak in. The Punisher robots are deployed, but Mainframe knows that he has an armada that can take this on, and he deploys all of his own backup bodies. Big Galactus shatters Silver Surfer's board, while the girls work to try to get closer to the core. The defense systems have defense systems. The president is briefed, and it doesn't look good. Thing then tries to rally the troops as the device begins to start being operational, and Galactus thinks of them as mere mortals as the beams strike towards the cap star. Meanwhile, the girls are trying to figure things out, but it's now down to 2 circuits. Which one? May's spider sense goes off, and Dream follows the hunch. It's a Spider-Girl's world when it comes to hunches. Big Galactus is in trouble, and the Asgardians have now escaped. Thor is pissed, because although he still has his powers, he does not feel the comfort of the realm eternal. So Surfer realizes that the situation has now become incredibly dire, and Death even shows up to take Galactus to the great beyond place. I don't know, where does even Galactus die? That's a good question. I don't know. Surfer then, in a final desperate act, encases them into a ball. Mainframe is shocked that Surfer would try to save Galactus, but then cracks begin to form, and they are anew. This is where I wish I had an echo, effect. Reed is fascinated by the Reed is fascinated, and he outfits, the creature then outfits themselves into an armor similar to what Galactus had worn before. He then repairs the world that was in ruin and gives hope to all the universe as a repairer of worlds instead of a devourer of worlds. The girls show up, and after J2 briefly updates them on what happened, May finally has gotten a hold of her family, and she's feeling much better. The world has changed, new alliances were formed, and in a homage to the final panel of Last Hero Standing, the MC2 world watch Galactus Surfer ride off. They still have a future. The end! For now. Kelly, what do you think of this story?
So much in such a short time. Really, I think. Huh?
We did cover a lot.
No, there's a lot of story in these 5 issues. I really think my favorite part and the thing that I really take away from it is just Vision does things kind of by. Vision does things by I don't know, he's very technical to the point that things are black and white, but the thing is it's not black and white just because you have a procedure. And two, he downplayed, him and the president downplayed these quote unquote teenage girls that ultimately took down Galactus.
Yeah, yeah.
So I really appreciate the fact that we kind of get that story, and we kind of get there's I think American Dream says it best. She had it all wrong. Her kind of internalizing and having self-guilt was all wrong, because really, regardless if they can or cannot stop them, the right thing to do is to try. The right thing to do is to try and help. And that's exactly what they do. And they win. And they go above all odds. And so I think that that's really my main takeaway. Also, just I'm still very, very sad that Sue never got a face character in Islands of Adventure, because clearly she wanted to be there.
Truth. There's a reference to Islands of Adventure in the book, and if you go follow,
there's a lot of Islands of Adventure in the book.
Yeah. This is the story that kind of made me love Galactus a little bit. So
yeah.
to kind of take people back, I really wasn't as into Marvel so much as I was into Spider-Man, especially in this time frame. So I only read Spider-Man. So I knew who Galactus was. I knew that, but I hadn't really read a story with him. And so for me to read this story, even though it's an MC2 book, bye Mr. Comics, it really kind of just made me appreciate the character, even though he dies in this issue, or is reborn in this issue. Let me rephrase. I just love the big nature, and something that I noticed while reading this again, there's a lot of oversized panels in this story.
Yeah.
in the art and how the art direction is, and it gives it a sense and a scope that you don't normally see whenever you're uh, reading a lot of books, especially in this time frame. You gotta realize, like, this was full on Bendis era Avengers. So when you're reading an Avengers book, it's not nearly as, I don't know. Yes, they had some event comics, but it just didn't. This felt bigger than those event comics to me, because I had just started reading Avengers around this time too. So like, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I mean, too, this is big stakes. This is like some of the highest stakes that this world has seen. And I mean, you even have the Watcher, who I guess dies, but can the Watcher die? I don't think so. So
yeah, their tides were gonna be all jacked up without the moon. Like,
yeah. So like, well, it's an explosion. So even though it looked like it like fully was dead, I don't think that happened. And like, I think it just was an explosion. But I don't really know what happened there. There's a little bit of things that like I think now that like rereading it over and over again, I start nitpicking. But the thing is like when you sit back and you read it, there is so many layers and there's so many different things, and it's everybody like there is a Fantastic Five story, and there's an Avengers story, and there's little kind of bit of a Spider-Girl story. I also like the fact that Spider-Girl isn't the main focus. We don't really see into her brain so much except for the college thing. And so, when we see her frustrated and kind of going like, yo, I'm out. Like, I'm sorry. I can't get a hold of my parents. She's very she's not prickly. Like, that's the thing is that like in certain stories like this, like Peter would be prickly. She's not prickly. She's willing to go. But the thing is it's very clear that she's not in there, like, she's not directly all in when it comes to the Avengers. She definitely has priorities, and they can tell her priorities are different. And so I think that that's a lot of fun because, we got to kind of see her be super, super focused. And we know by now, after 100 issues, how much she internalizes. But we don't see that. Instead, we see how she works together with them. We see the fact that, Shannon trusts her to the point, where she said, look, Stinger, you might know this, I might know this, but when it comes to hunches, we're going to listen to Spider-Girl's gut. And that's really like the three of them worked well together. They understand each other. They know how each other communicates, and they just go and they just do. And so that's ultimately what brought Galactus down, was three young girls, essentially, because Cassie and Shannon are, they're in, I think they're 20s, but it's not like they're super, super,
they're young
still
women.
very young.
They're all
so
young, 19, 20 years old. Yeah.
Exactly. And so like that's always been my main takeaway with it, has been like the fact that we see a lot of female superheroes here really shine and save the day. But it's just like it's hard for me to explain this, like what this story means to me, because it's not like, there's not a lot of time to really focus on emotion or heart. It's just action, just bam, 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 every which way. So it's a lot of fun. It's a really big world climactic thing. And there's a lot of depth there. It's just, it feels like Die Hard.
It's funny for me. This is where I felt like that. I really love the relationship between the girls, Dream, Stinger, and May. Like, this is where I feel like that those three are now a cohesive unit and they work together. And especially when I was reading it as it was coming out, because again, I came so late to the game as a regular reader that I kind of saw this relationship. So for me to go back and throughout the course of this show and get through the entire first volume, it was like, oh yeah, this, this makes sense. Like, this is why I always, felt that they were such a unit, because by this point they had worked together enough. There was a trust and a faith that had been built in because of that. So I think that it's
we
a
saw
great payoff to those little nuggets that ran through the entire first volume is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, too. I mean, like, we started off with Shannon and Cassie not liking each other too much, but the thing is like, you know, we saw in A-Next number 2, like, they respected each other enough that even if they didn't see eye to eye and disagreed with each other, it was never tearing each other down. It wasn't super attackful. It was just, I'm going to go my way, you're going to go your way. And now, you know, they really do pretty much see eye to eye, which I think is really, really cool. So
I completely agree.
You know, I definitely liked it. It like I said, it's a great little series, a great little kind of actiony. So it starts off our summer blockbusters, since next week is Doctor Strange in theaters, and then we will come back to our Tired and True and talk about Mayday. Like I said, like, the whole thing is, this is such a beat 'em up action, high stakes, like, miniseries.
It's big, it's bombastic, it's earth shattering, and yes, is it a bit of a cop out for everything to be kind of the status quo to be reset at the end? Sure. But it makes to where it's a very well-contained, self-contained story. Because although everything has been put back to normal, there's still scars that are felt.
Yeah, and they talk about that. Yeah, and they talk. Yeah, like, how, I think Shannon said, like, how do we recover?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And Cassie said, like, we do as we must.
And I think this serves as a great companion to May's mindset when we get to Amazing. So, I mean,
she wanted a break, like, after this. This was horrific. Yeah.
And for those keeping score at home, this came out the same time as the final issues of Volume 1. So, yes, Wikipedia was like, "Oh, this is coming." They were all published at the same time, but the backstory is not. That's not true.
Story is different. I do have a question, though. Obviously, this. I'm assuming this would take place, because this seems like it's sort of towards the. Well, I don't know. So the PSATs, normally you study for them in the fall, and then you take them in the spring of your sophomore year. But this, you know, all of this seems to be in the spring, towards the end of the year. So maybe they're taking them during the summer. I don't know. Yeah. But, you know, this is right after 100. After her mom said, no more Spider-Girl. So so we have to assume she literally stole the suit back. It was going behind their backs. Probably did not go over well at the end of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of off-panel land that we don't know about. She was probably grounded for life.
Forever.
like, yes, she's so relieved to talk to her parents, but I can just imagine that phone call. "Young lady, you were out fighting Galactus," and I could just hear Peter in the background just, you know, yelling.
Well, they were confused. Nobody knew what to do, and I bet you they couldn't call her. Like, I don't think that they would have been as mad as they're just relieved she's not dead. Just like she was relieved she could get a hold of him, and they weren't dead. But now thinking about it, like, story-wise and trying to connect it, this makes a lot of sense as why she starts dating who she dates in Amazing, because
oh no,
she's traumatized. So yeah, you know, a guy with not so great intentions. Yeah. Easy picking.
This is true. So, yeah, we'll go to some comments. Vinkman had a question, says, thoughts on Magneto being in the Revengers. Up till now, he got the impression that she was just misguided in basing herself on Magneto.
We needed an antagonist team for the Avengers team for this story. So Magneto is there too. And we also don't know what the Red Queen promised her that we know did not happen, because she lies.
Yeah, Hope in the MC2 and Hope in the MCU are two entirely different characters.
Wow, hold on now though. Quantum Leap. We could see the Red Queen, especially with the multiverse stuff.
Oh yeah.
I kind of want to see Evangeline Lilly be evil because she seems like someone that she's very misguided herself. So
we'll leave that at that. You can just do a quick Google search on Evangeline Lilly and do it.
It's every other. I mean, it's like every other week. So yeah. It would be fun to see the Red Queen in the MCU, and I think that that's actually very possible since she's there. But yeah, so Hope is very different, and the Red Queen, as we can see in this series, really only cares about herself.
Very selfish, very self-centered. Also, money is fake and dumb, but also important. Yes, Neil, that is true.
Yes. I'm going to star the last one from Vinkman about the moon being partially destroyed. Makes him think of a Kit cartoon. Mm-hmm. And then he also did write that, if everything was magically repaired in the end, wouldn't the moon be too? Which is probably fair. That's probably what happened.
Yes, that is, yeah. You pointed that out before I got to it, but good job. Great minds think alike, Pinkman. So apparently, he'll have some thoughts about Magneto when we get to Amazing when she shows back up then. But
we'll get to it then.
Yeah, but I will say this: this is a really fun jaunt. It was released in trade paperback form, so you can maybe at used bookstores might be able to find it, or at comic shops too. So if you don't,
all on.
It is in its entirety, and all the pages are there. Mm-hmm. So we're not missing pages. Marvel. It's funny. I actually had Jared, my coworker, who listens to the shows because he works nights. He's part of our night crew. He's listening to the show. He's like, "So missing pages? What?" So I had to explain to him the whole thing.
Someone messed up a scan, multiple scans.
Yeah, someone got someone forgot to hit send on page 15.
Oh, see, what I was figuring is someone had to flip it, and someone forgot to flip on one, and then on the other, I think it's that half page and then a whole other page.
Isn't it crazy that now we can just use our phone to scan documents? We don't even have to have a scanner now.
Well, isn't it crazy that most of these things are digital to begin with, so they don't ever have to do this?
Right. That's true. Now most everything, I remember being back in this, especially in this time frame. So if you're a Crawl Space listener, this was literally when I sounded like I was using the Taco Bell drive-through microphone speaker on Crawl Space, where I'm because you're listening to Brad's speakers with the microphone, kind of like the bad audio.
Oh yeah, that was the Skype days.
Yes, this was the very early Skype days where Kevin was on a landline, I was on a cell phone. And it wasn't for 20 episodes before I finally got a decent computer mic. So, that takes me back. And that's after I literally had my flip phone break in half after interviewing Dan Slott for 3 hours. So that was fun.
Karma.
Little did I know.
Sorry. Anyway, yeah. So, before we do all of our normal sign-off stuff, we do need to go back up here to basically news, because I think we've pretty much gone over what I had in housekeeping, which is this is a midway breaking point of our break for you guys.
Yeah. We couldn't go longer than a month without doing at least an episode, and
exactly
we want it to be bi-weekly, but you're gonna try. We try to do a stream once a month, I think on this channel, on the audio version, I'm caught up. I think I'm one behind on Spidey Experience, but I think I'm caught up on this one. So, like, during the break, we'll definitely all be caught up on the audio versions of the show. So there's not going to be much of a lag. In fact, I'm going to download the episode and I'm going to then upload it to Patreon tonight. Fingers crossed. And get that done. So patreon.com/Spidey Network. But yes, we have a bit of news.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like super news, but since we last spoke, Volume 4 of the complete collection has come out. I did not get my copy because I accidentally sent it to my parents. So
I put the wrong credit card information in and it didn't charge, and so therefore I have not gotten mine. I pre-ordered.
So I don't know if there's missing pages or not. I don't know what's in it. Somebody needs to tell us. We will talk about it once we have our copies. Because it was funny because I saw the photo where it says it has been delivered and Amazon sent the photo, and I was like, I see the front porch frog that is on my mom's porch. That's not my apartment.
Oh dear.
So I mean, it's okay. Like, it was funny because she was texting me. She's like, "It's about to rain." I was like, "Can you go get something off the porch before it gets ruined? Thanks." So it's fine. It's there. I'm pretty sure by now it's in my dad's trunk, and I have to meet up with him to get that and Easter presents and candy. So
the most important thing of those items is the candy. So
yeah, well, it's Reese's, like Reese eggs. So of course.
Especially according to Gabriella, like she'd be all down for that.
Well, they're gluten-free. Best candy is gluten-free.
So she is not gluten intolerant. She had a severe virus.
I mean, I'm celiac. So.
Yeah, you're celiac, but like we thought that she might be, she might.
Yeah.
And so it was a virus that has apparently a similar reaction to celiac or gluten intolerance.
An autoimmune? That's weird.
Yeah, it was weird. They gave her some steroids and she got over it. And because then this child. So we've changed everything. We got gluten-free everything. Her mom's gotten gluten-free everything. It turned out for almost a month we were gluten-free at home. But the child decided to continue eating school lunches or school breakfasts, which had all sorts of gluten in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I guess you're fine, and we're not taking you to the hospital. And she's like, I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm like, girl. And I hate for you guys, for people that are in your situation, that you have to pay. So it's like literally a tax on you, and it is mind-boggling to me how much more expensive everything is for gluten-free, the people that are celiac. It breaks my heart that you guys have to go through that. So you have my sympathies, even more so than already did. So
no, yeah, but yeah. So we will talk about Volume 4 once we both have a copy, or one of us has a copy. Mm-hmm. And now we can kind of go back down here. All right. So I did not see any emails. Do we have any voicemails, snail mail, reviews?
No snail mail, no reviews, no voicemails for this episode. So if you want to leave us a voicemail, though, you can always do it at 818-925-6631. And I am in the wrong folder. I was not in the Make My Mayday folder. I was in the... And you can always leave us an email at makeMyMayday@gmail.com or SpideyDudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com. If you email one, CC the other, so that way we see it and that way we both have it. You can always go to r/SpiderGirl and check things out. We also have our Discord page, and there's a Spider-Girl Discord page too that we're part of. And I need to get the link. I need to get like a shareable link to that so I can link it on our website.
We do. We'll get that fixed. But yeah, so next episode, y'all. So we are in the second half now, and my hair almost is at the length. I almost match our girl.
Yay!
I have a proposal for our audience, and hopefully this can get us some engagement with you guys. The next episode can either be ASM 0 through 1. Obviously, do we really need to go over 0? No. Are we? Yes, because it did get printed. We should talk about it.
Yes.
So we're going to go over... basically, I've got it kind of set where it can be 0 and 1 from Amazing Spider-Girl, and then Avengers Next 1 and 2, and then maybe, since 0 doesn't really count as an issue, we'll tie it to 1. We can do Amazing Spider-Girl number 3, or maybe we can go to... I'm trying to think and not spoil it for the people that are listening to the show, and this is their first time reading it with us, but I cannot remember the issue that we need to read to tie into Avengers Next number 3, and I want to say it's ASM 4.
Yes, I think it's ASG 4. Yeah.
Yeah, ASG. Well, I'm ASM. It's a habit. But yeah, so Amazing Spider-Girl number 4. So then we'd have to do the episode as Amazing Spider-Girl up to number 4, which then is still a little short.
Right.
But we could do that and then go into Avengers Next, the whole series, the next episode.
Yeah, Avengers Next is probably the one that's the most interconnected, other than like this one.
Is. Yeah.
And last year, like these 3 miniseries are the most interconnected books. That are not like the first era of MC2, so it's kind of interesting how that worked out. I forgot that Avengers Next came out so close. I thought it was another year before. So
they all relaunched rapid fire like within that first year.
Yeah, which is funny because like they brought in back Ron Lim to do Avengers Next, which I'm really... And I will say this, for some reason, I did not have the first 2 issues of this in my box. I don't know what happened to them, so I'll have to like go back and get the first 2 issues. But I had the last 3. I read the other 2 on the Marvel Unlimited, so that's just a strange aside note, random thing. So,
but yeah, no, so we can do it either or. Ultimately, if we hear back from you guys by what we have it for May 27th.
Yes, May 27th. I know it's a month, almost.
I know.
Almost
well, yeah. It's like we're not going to start anything for May until the end of May, but it's kind of how the schedule has aligned, unfortunately.
It seems like every Thursday I have something going on.
Yeah. So the plan is the last full week of May, we are going to start the ASG half of our show, and I guess you're calling it season 3, although to me this feels like a season 2, really.
Right. We kind of split the first volume in half. It's it is like because we kind of took that big break in last summer at around 54, and then the back half.
Well, that was just other scheduling issues too. But so the whole thing though is we are starting the new season off on May 27th. So definitely catch us on YouTube and Twitter and on MakeMineMayday.com, right? It's .com.
Yes, .com.
I don't even know my own bio link, my own link tree. But MakeMineMayday.com, and same time, so 9:00, right?
Yeah, it will still be the same time. You can follow us on Facebook. Let me get rid of that banner. All right. You can follow us on Facebook at SpideyDude Network, Twitter at SpideyDude Radio, and at Make Mine Mayday. YouTube.com/SpideyDude Radio Network. Instagram.com/SpideyDude Network and /KMcDaniel28. You can follow us on TikTok at SpideyDude Network and at Make Mine Mayday as well. You can follow us on those various social medias. We will keep you updated. Also, spidey-do.com/events. Everything will be up on spidey-do.com. Our schedule for the month of May, I'm going to be working on that this weekend, and so that will be populated up on the events page. So when we're going to be doing live streams, I will have it all set up. Of course, if you subscribe to us on YouTube, you will get a notification as a week before.
Well,
whenever
you gotta hit a bell.
Yeah, you got to hit the notification bell and set it to all, please. That's the way you're going to make sure you get all the notifications. So thank you for reminding me about the bell. So with that, we will wrap up the episode. Be sure to check out our other great shows here on the Spidey Radio Network, like the Sabi Sima Era Spectacular Podcast. Had me and Kelly on. We're getting all the old episodes.
One second. We didn't finish off the whole that you guys do need to let us know how y'all want us to structure the new episode. Otherwise, we're going to make that choice before the 27th.
So, I will. How about this? I'm doing a stream on the 11th. So if we want to give them a deadline of the 11th, I will announce exactly what we're doing. If we don't hear from you guys, then we're going to kind of make that executive decision. So we want to make sure you guys are part of that process. Am I saying that right? Okay.
Yes. Because I want to know how they want us to do this.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys think. We got. Let me see if we got any comments. We know that there are people that like to read along with us, and so we want to be respectful of those people. And those people haven't read Avengers Next yet. They're literally following along. We are kind of their spirit guides across the MC2, and so we want to make sure that we're. Yeah.
Well, it's also just the story wise, the way the story is set up. We don't want to spoil. We don't want to spoil something by going just by the start date, because then it would literally be Amazing Spider-Girl 0, 1, and 2, and then all of Avengers Next before we could get back. The way we did it prior, but that was because nothing really intersected too much, nothing spoiled too much. This would spoil a major story in Amazing Spider-Girl if we did it that way, and I don't want to do it that way, but I don't know, should we start Amazing Spider-Girl first and do a slightly shorter episode, and then kick back to Avengers Next, and then kick back there? Or should we interweave Avengers Next, interweave that story, into two of the first two issues, or first two episodes?
Option A.
Yeah.
Interweave. Interweave. Option B. Separate. Give it a very clear separation where we, have a part 1 of whatever happened to the daughter of Spider-Man, and then Avengers Next, and then part 2, and we kind of just break it up that way.
Exactly.
That's kind of your options. We will make. I will make a post on our front page, kind of talking about this. I will definitely have it in the show notes. So I will. My goal is to try to have the audio edition out this week. So fingers crossed. I don't get distracted by the universe, but because it's me and I'm easily distracted. So we will let everybody know. We'll also, we'll talk on our social medias as well. So, we do it. Like I say, that kind of gives everybody options. So, anything else, Kelly, you want to mention?
No, I'm pretty much good to go. That was really it. It was just like I've been wrapping my brain for the last week trying to figure out how I wanted to do our next episode, and I couldn't really figure it out. So I thought I'd bring it to everybody.
So we'll make we'll also make a post in the Discord. So if you haven't joined our Discord, the link is on our front page. On spidey-do.com, but it's also in the little Discord icon at the very top of the page. I don't know if it's on the mobile version, but I know on the desktop version, you just click that and it literally takes you to the Discord. So I changed the theme And so when I did that, I was able to add some touches like that. So the front page is still a work in progress, but at least all the images work now.
Yay!
That was a crucible. Literally, the guy that works on our website worked all night one night and had to painstakingly go through all the plugins and all the innards of the website. So when WordPress updated, a file got corrupted, and he had to go into all the files, and there is at least 8,000 files, like between all the images and all the files and stuff. Because like there was a solution that of what I thought was going on that I tried, and then I was like, oh, there's like 8,000 things on the website. I'm glad a lot of this is automated. I don't have to do this painstakingly. But yeah, he figured it out, and that's how we got everything back. He was trying everything. So there was episodes that were missing. I know that was a thing. Sorry, guys. And then they came back, obviously, later on, because once we figured out the bug, then we were able to restore it to factory settings. So all that being said, we will officially now wrap this episode up. Thanks guys for watching. Thanks again for listening. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast catcher, leave us a review on your favorite podcast catcher, and we will read the reviews on future episodes, as well as the voicemail line 818-925-6631 and the emails makemymayday@gmail.com and spideyduderadionetwork@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we will see you guys next time here on Make Mine Mayday.